A huge home field advantage. It plays into the psyche of teams that come here as well. You know, it really is a worry of how you play a slope. You know, it's difficult if you're not doing it every week. So I think it's, you know, maybe 8-10 point advantage to Batley in that respect.
Well, we shall see how it goes. By the looks of it, Batley are going to be playing downhill for the first half, of course. They're in the maroon, and Halifax in the blue and white stripes playing uphill. And if you're just switching on late, you're just joining us for the start of the game. George Stokes there, the referee, by the way. A reminder that the new deal announced today here on Premier Sports, 5 years of NRL Rugby League right here on Premier Sports. State of origin, playoff games, grand final, the lot.
I tell you what else happens this weekend as well, doesn't Championship 1 kick off? And
yeah, it does.
And
yeah.
Hemel Hempstead and all those new teams that are in the tier underneath this competition.
The Northern Rail starts this weekend as well. Good luck to everybody involved in that. I think we've done all the adverts now, haven't we? We can concentrate on the Rugby League. Here we go. Big boot on ball provided by Tom Hemingway to get us underway. It's a high one as well underneath the lights, but Halifax safely pouching and a chance to run it back at some very menacing looking Batley defenders. 4 of them making sure that there is no way through in the first instance. And Ambler, I think it was, who was put down, and Halifax trundling on towards the 20-metre mark. Always physical in these early stages, especially against two teams who find themselves fairly evenly matched, not only in terms of the size of their forwards, but their aspirations for the season as well. Halifax looking to just make a bit of a break from deep inside their own territory. A chance, if they can, to get a kick here on what will be the 5th tackle, just being organised by Ashaw at dummy half. Wants to get this pass away. It's going to be Morel who'll put boot to ball here, right footed, gets a decent kick on it as well. It's a turn and a chase. 4 miles Greenwood, our first look at him here tonight. Catches on the 10-metre line, running it back towards the 20, well marshalled by a decently chasing Halifax defence there.
Well, he passed Test 1, didn't he? Sprinted back to the ball, caught it on the full, which he encouraged every player to do. We'll be looking to get a quick play of the ball, so Batley can do what they've just done there, run out of dummy half.
Well, we saw that with the back three last week, didn't we? Potts on that occasion playing full-back last week. Here comes Johnny Campbell, who had a decent game as well last week, has got it over the halfway line. We're already seeing the pronouncement of this slope, haven't we? Batley with 3 tackles gone, well, just about inside their opponent's territory. Here's Davis with a battling effort. We saw what a consistent performer he was just 7 days ago. A little pick up and go by Mennell. It's going to scramble another 5 yards or so. That was the 5th. Here comes the last. So Lindsay will prepare to collect. Hemingway, the little chip over the top. And a safe enough catch by Ryan Fieldhouse to run it away, and captured less than 20 from his own line. So Paul Kirk, what have you made of these opening few minutes, these tasters of each other?
Yeah, a fast start by both teams. Both fullbacks catching on the full, forwards setting each other out. It looks like, you know, what the coaches was talking about before the game, about them big men in the middle having to win it for their team.
And you said you played here once before on this slope. What were your memories of this game?
Yeah, tough going up the hill. I think what Brian said earlier was damn right. It plays into the psyche of the away team and gives the Batley team a bit of an advantage early on.
Well, they're going to have a kick here, Morel again, and that's a huge
kick.
That's a 40-20.
Oh, fantastic.
That's a great kick and a half.
Uphill.
Get that into you.
Well, Scott Morel, take a bow. And no wonder his teammates are patting me on the back. If you want to cancel out the slope, then do it that way. Behind the 40-metre line by about a stride or two, and it went out of play, more or less on the corner flag. Sensational kick.
3 iron, straight off the boot, sweet as a nut. Boom!
Well, the end result is Halifax head and feed here, and a chance to put the first test on this Batley line. It's Hanforth who joins in, and up from full-back goes Fieldhouse.
Big boy Fieldhouse, isn't he?
Just grabbed a hold up by a couple of defenders. It's Ashaw who picks up from dummy half again. Here's a test here now for this Halifax line, as Manning has taken it almost to within touching distance of the whitewash, just held up. So there's only a couple of tackles gone here. Left it goes again, spun across the field. Look at the numbers here, look at the numbers here. It's going to be the opening try of the night for Steve Tyra. In at the corner, George Stokes has a look, points the finger. They had a 3-man overlap at the very least, Tyra's the man in, and Halifax have first points on the board.
Yeah, great hands through the Halifax team, all on the back of that unbelievable 40-20 from Morell. Shift the ball out of dummy half of Marshall, through the hands for Thackeray, and release Tyra on a big shift play to the left-hand side. And they've got the numbers, they've got the outside shoulder, and he's a big boy, Steve Tyra. You're not going to stop him with that kind of running.
Fantastic by Scott Morell there. You know, he's kicked the 40-20, and then he gives the killer pass to Tyra out wide, who almost strolls in.
Well, celebrating an opening score, and what a start as well. It was looked, I was going to suggest that getting out of that bottom end of the field looked as though it's going to be a real chore for Halifax, because they weren't making much progress on the previous set, were they? But
I will say one thing. Early in their first set, they had a shift play. Normally, they're pretty conservative, Halifax. They'll pound away in around the ruck or the side of the field. And on their second set, they went to the fringes early and then shifted the play. So maybe they're just trying to spread this Batley team out a little bit as well, which gave Morell the space to be fair, whatever space he had, he just woofed it, didn't he? He just nailed it.
We were talking about Carl Price, weren't we, at the Dewsbury game the other week. The big boot he had, it was that kind of power in the boot, wasn't it? Tyra's missed the goal, by the way. He's been sharing the goal-kicking duties this season with Hanford, but here's a look at the try again.
Yeah, as Cookie said, I mean, Scott Morell's a money ball, because he's under pressure. He has to get put on his backside whilst he's executing the play, and great pass.
What a signing he's proved to be so far this season. Scott Morell. Just a little under the headlights as far as Carl Harrison's concerned with his pre-match interview, suggesting they've not signed too many, but my word, he's a real big name. Fresh from the Super League and delivering in the Championship, the Kingston Press Championship so far. So Halifax with a hard yards to do again here. Deep inside their own 20. They won't want to rely on the big boot every time. They'll want to run it clear as often as they can, if they can. But some real hard work to be done. Here's Heaton. Going to be caught by 3 defenders before he gets to the 20-metre mark. So down goes the back of Ashall again to try and get things moving once more for these big men to have a go at that Batley line, but Batley hanging on where it matters here, making sure that Halifax can't make too much of an impression. A kick from dummy half, another big kick downfield. It's a turn and a chase by Greenwood.
They'll turn him around again. It's another cracking kick. If they can complete the kick chase side of this, then they've done really well there.
And they have done, haven't they? They have done. Kicking game's going to be massively important here tonight, isn't it, Paul Cook? It has to be big and it has to be accurate.
It does, especially first half, as we say, for Halifax, you know, finding it difficult coming off their own end and, you know, getting some great kicks away, turning Miles Greenwood around, who's very dangerous.
There's Campbell.
You just see the philosophy in this Batley team, you know, they get to Potts and they get to Johnny Campbell, and they're just hoping for that one win where Nell can jump out of there and get some, and then really kick off the front foot.
It's a big drive forward by Alex Rowe. Decent offload as well to keep it alive. Halifax defending well enough to make sure that Davis is suffocated with possession. Can't get that ball away, and that was tackle 5. So here comes the last. Still 45 metres away. So up goes the big boot of Hemingway. Where's it going to come down? Oh, it's been dropped. It's been dropped by Ricky Sharif. Underneath it, not under that much pressure, to be fair. Should have caught it.
Yeah, he's not under pressure, and he's just dropped it cold, hasn't he? Elbows together. That's what coach will be saying.
Carl Harrison just peering into the distance. You can imagine he's fuming deep down.
Those little things add up, though, don't they, Cookie? You know, you think, great job, we started really well, and all of a sudden you're under pressure in your own half.
Yeah, it's a big error. It's a first play, you know, looking to get it off their own end. The first error of the game for Halifax, giving Batley field position to mount an attack.
Here comes Lindsay, Ash Lindsay, trying to push his way through, and he got the arm free as well almost, but 3 defenders made better sense to keep a hold. Mennell, Davies down this left-hand side, little dummy thrown by him, springs out of one trap, throws it inside. A little bit of a drop, but picked up by Byron Smith, who puts the head down and drives. 5 yards away. Mennell from dummy half again. Right once more, Black puts it back towards a fullback Greenwood, the little dinky kick from him. He's got lucky here, he's got the deflection back, and it's back for another set of 6 as well, the referee says, and Greenwood almost threading his way through without the need of another set of 6 here, but they have 6 more. So pressure this time on the Halifax line, taken in by Rowe.
Good tackle on Rowe, get up, Tonks.
It's Mennell from dummy half. Well, they're celebrating behind the sticks. A long time before George sticks out the finger to confirm. but they've got one back, and it was a sniffer from dummy half who's got it as well.
You could see it coming. Tony Tonks got put on his backside by Alex Rowe with a hit. We hit him with a shoulder really hard. If we watch our viewers watch, boom, get that into you. But he's on the floor, is Tony Tonks, doesn't get quick enough. Paul Manel's too smart, sees him on the ground, on his horns, just dives past him.
Yeah, we see the importance there of the error. You know, they give field position away cheaply under no pressure. You know, the coach will be disappointed with the winger there.
Is he behind glass there, John Keir, or is he just proving how tough he is with just a T-shirt on tonight? I think he's behind glass, he must be.
It might not be, he's from Castleford.
He was complaining about the cold last week. And I'm sure it's still chilly this week. Here's Hemingway with a kick, which if it goes over, gives Batley the lead.
Anything, lads?
And you wouldn't back against him here, would you? He's been in terrific form. It was 50% record last week, 2 out of 4, but before that, I think he'd only missed 1 all season. 17 kicks he's landed so far this year from 21 attempts. And here comes attempt at 22. And you'd bet on it being success number 18. Over it goes, never any doubts. 10 metres out, the flags go up, as you would expect. And 6 points to 4, Batley now lead.
Yeah, and after 10 minutes, you'd probably say it's not complete reflection of how the game's was. You get an element of luck here. Miles Greenwood gets the ricochet back off Tyra, I think it is, and then that's Paul Menel's opportunism, seeing Tony Tonks, and I have to say that Craig Ashaw didn't help Tony Tonks there. Needed to probably plug that middle before being a bit too aggressive to the right-hand side.
It's a big kill. There's another mistake. And Rowe, well, I'm not sure if his was a knock-on or whether it was the follow. What's he given here?
Yeah, it was knock-on.
There's a drop, right? Drop out underneath the stick, so he's given it against Alex Rowe, hasn't he?
Again, an error on, you know, play 0, if you like, from a kick-off this time. This time not a winger, but the big front rower.
And is that clever on the kicker's part? We're reading too much into that. He's actually aiming because he saw the front rower.
That's a good kick. You see the ball was lined up on the tee, and the way that will move in the air quite a lot, Dave. So that's a tough one to catch from Alex Rowe, but should do it.
So Halifax again given cheap possession inside their opponent's half, and again looking to claim the territory with a little bit of authority here as they send the big men forward again. Batley having to sort themselves out. Morelli can see there, the general in the middle, but he's forgotten to catch the ball. It's gone backwards, I think. Picked up by Ambler. The referee says play on. And Luke Ambler can trundle his way out to that left-hand side. They've got some big players, haven't they, in that pack, Halifax?
Both teams are not small, but you look at Ambler and Braycheck, I've been impressed with this season. I think he's done really well for Halifax. Good to see Dane Manning back in the team in the back row. You know, we talk about people that could possibly play Super League one year. I think he's in that category as well. Morel
throwing it back here to Hanford. Hanford tries to slip Fieldhouse through. He's caught by a couple of defenders. That was tackle 5, so here comes the last. It's going to be a kick, a little rinky-dink one along the ground as well. So up goes Greenwood to catch it. He's lost it. He's lost it, but the referee has decided.
Knock on in there, I think, Dave. Knock on.
Yeah. A little bit of a heartbeat reliever there for Batley, wasn't it?
Great kick from Hanford. Puts him under a lot of pressure, and Luke Ambler clearly knocks on there.
Clever kick again, wasn't it? Just banging it into the ground, and anything could happen from there on. So Batley with very nearly 12 minutes played, leading by 6 points to 4 here, but it has been an eventful opening 12 minutes, as they always seem to be in these championship games, don't they? There's always something to talk about. As it's taken forward by Rowe, who was tackled just a couple of yards away from that halfway line. Here comes the kick downfield. It was only just beyond the halfway line, so an easy take by Fieldhouse, who turns and sees a good chase. Strong work by the winger Johnny Campbell to make sure he's pinned there.
That man Davis as well is a workaholic, and his Halifax's version of the back three. What warrants he trying to add his considerable size and strength to the go-forward effort for Halifax.
Little step by Hanford, back down the middle, very nearly caught them cold, but Davis is across there with a very good tackle. It's not always the eye-catching stuff that John Davis does, but it's the important stuff, isn't it, down that middle?
See Halifax again trying to move the big fellas around there, Nobby.
It's a good little step. Crying out for help there, wasn't he, Andy Braycheck? Applegarth making the tackle. Here comes the kick. Downfield it goes, over the head of Greenwood, who's going to watch that and hope it's going to go out of play, and it's not going to go out of play. He's lost a stride or two because he was convinced it was going dead, but the slope held it up, and it means he's got more work to do to bring it out.
I think he's stuck in a puddle. He seemed to stop dead in the in goal, and Greenwood then has to really work hard. And these early plays, the Halifax need to get a grip of these early plays from Batley, and they're certainly trying to be vigorous there, but they're just getting the run, aren't they? Campbell and Potts and Greenwood.
Well, the wingers again doing all the hard work here. Now have a look at this. He's convinced it's going out, and then I'm going to stop here. So he's got all the work to do.
Good carry.
And the penalty as well. There's Rowe, the man underneath all of that. Causing a real concern here.
Yeah, he's looked at him for grappling him around the neck, hasn't he? He's pulled him back.
So the 6 start from this tap here, just about 22, 21 metres away from where they want to be. Mennell with a tap. Here comes the first drive in that's taken by Bretherton. 15 metres away. Mennell stands and waits. Lindsay trying to prop off both feet, but not fooling those two defenders and caught easily enough. Mennell again to this left-hand side. Here's Davis, wider still. Looking for the gap, looking for the width, but Johnny Campbell's well covered.
Great tackle from Warrenson and Campbell.
Here's Davis again, trying to make things happen. Byron Smith held up, sturdily in, but sturdily held. Tonks amongst those in the welcoming committee. So back to the middle again. Hemingway tries to put it through, doesn't quite get the bounce he wanted, and Halifax come up with possession.
Great stop. Nice little stop on the ricochet, and
he was
picked the ball up as well. Devoted does really well there. Of course, Halifax a lack of pain in respect to the result of that kick by not only stopping the kick, but then having the good grace to get down on it and save his team from having to defend another 6.
There's Ricky Sharif, who's got a bit of a make-up to do for his teammates, hasn't he, after that early mistake? Looking to take it forward, looking to indulge in some of that hard labour from deep inside their own half. It's a step again from Hanforth with a dummy, and then throwing it across the line. He maybe has too much there.
He was just asking for somebody to hit a hole for him. What I mean by that is he's got the ball out there trying to find a willing runner that'll hit a space, and so he can carry him further up the field.
Was the boot of Morell again here, which has taken that ball in the in-goal area and again made it really difficult here. Tough one for Potts to bring out. He's done well to beat the first man, and then literally runs into Ashall, I think it was.
Ashall.
But he has got in the field of play again.
Another great kick by Morell there, Dave. Just stopping a metre before the dead ball line.
Potts does really well to get out here. Braycheck, I think it was Braycheck that missed the tackle.
Morell was up there as well, I think, following his own
kick.
Morell.
Wasn't it? I apologise, it was Scott Morell. You can give him some rice about that one, Cookie.
So Batley, having survived a little bit of a scare, find themselves with just over 16 minutes played, still leading here by those 6 points to 4. Ricky Sharif getting the bird as the ball comes down, but showing a good pair of hands there. That was technically perfect, wasn't it? Making sure with that catch.
That was, look where Halifax have got player 1. That's a defensive set to Halifax. They front-loaded their energy there on the back of Scott Morell's kick, albeit they didn't keep him in goal, but they ended from kicking inside their own 40 did the Batley team, and this is the end result. Halifax in a bit of decent field position.
And a chance to make their opponents pay with still tackles in the bag. 3 to go here. Here's Hanforth again trying to make things happen. On by Manning, Dane Manning, the former Leeds Academy player, not that long ago. The dummy half, it's Hanforth. We'll see him there operating, I'm sure, more and more as the night goes on. Oh, Morell took a high one. That was a high one from James Walton. It's an easy decision for the referee, isn't it?
Oh, easy.
A good defensive read from him. He's just got his timing a little bit wrong, with the left foot step from Morell there.
He didn't miss him. What's this? Clips him. Oof.
We'll have a look again. I was going to say it wasn't as high as it first seemed, but it was, wasn't it?
Well, he's a big boy, Walton, and look at, he's got a great rig on him. Look at the frame, and he's wanting to put every ounce of effort and impact into that tackle. And when Scott Morell moves off his left foot to try and beat him, he's left stranded, dangling his arm out.
Well, the referees have this thing where they wait for the player to be treated before they mete out any punishment if it's coming. He's given the penalty. Whether he's going to have another word with Walton, I don't think he is he? He's going to satisfy himself with just giving the penalty here. George Stokes, hand on his head. and immediately tells everybody that Steve Tyra's going to go for goal here. Are you surprised by that?
No, it's up the hill. I think you're knocking a bit of the clock off. You know, you're taking a minute for your kick and then a minute for the reset, and then you've got your best player, ostensibly your best player, with a busted mouth, so he needs to get fixed up. The 2 points down, this come back and parity, which they probably deserve to be in that kind of area, and so I can fully understand the goal kick here.
Well, it should be eminently kickable, shouldn't it? Fairly straightforward.
Yeah, quality kicker, Tyra. You'd expect him to nudge this one over.
It is uphill, am I allowed to say?
Yeah, you can say it's uphill, yeah. I was talking to a very good goal kicker the other week who was saying, actually, these are the most difficult ones because the pressure's on. You're expected to kick these. And oh, he's hit the post, and he has kicked it in the end, but my word, he needed to hit the post and the post to knock it in. But Steve Tyra just has his first success of the night, 6 points apiece. And how does that reflect this game so far, Brian? No?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Batley looked dangerous on the back of a penalty and a couple of errors from Halifax when they'd been in field position. Halifax's second attempt was a great goal line defensive effort, which ended up getting the ball back. But you have to say the feature of this first 15 minutes for me has been the absolute quality of Scott Morell's field kicking, in-field kicking. It's been exceptional, hasn't it?
Well, here comes Hemingway, who's taking his time here.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for the guy who's changing his boots, the back row there.
Davis.
He's coming back in now, Davis, yeah.
It's cheeky little extra use of the time. You just see John Davis coming back, having just laced up his new boots. And here we go again. Hemingway with a kick that drops short, and it provides an awkward bounce, which gives those chasers an extra second or two to get up there. And they're getting excited down on that bottom terracing, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a good crowd here tonight, isn't it?
They're enjoying that contest, the big men against big men. Here's Ricky Sharif, holding onto the ball safely enough.
I'm impressed, you know, Warrensey and Sharif and Fieldhouse for Halifax, and Potts and Greenwood. And
Campbell.
Yeah, he's going to get there, Dave, don't worry. Campbell. They really excite the game, don't they, early in the plays, you know, a slight difference, you know, bit more size about Sharif and Warrensey and speed and Campbell and Potts and certainly Greenwood.
And we made the point last week, didn't we? John Keir was a winger as a player, and if anybody had told him to play the game like Potts and Campbell are playing it tonight, he'd have splashed his head, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
dummy half, middle of the field.
When John was playing, it was 2 carries a game, if they got released.
Here comes Walton. Fresh from his physical involvement not that long ago, but this time with ball in hand drives it in. And a chance here for Batley to encroach inside their opponent's half if they can. Applegarth is going to be put down right on that halfway line. Here's Hemingway, left to Davis. Davis off that left foot, little step. Is providing the extra question at the last moment, but the defence hangs on. Quickly played. Hemingway sees the gap, tries to run into it, but the triangle of defenders closing him down quickly enough. So last tackle. Batley 20 metres away. It's going to be put high by Black, the one-time Halifax man, of course, and under pressure this time. Sharif catches it well enough. He's going to be taken back, is he? But he's held his ground, and play starts just inside the field of play.
You know, you talk about wing play, and there's so much pressure put a place upon wingers and fullbacks in the game today. You know, right there, Ricky Sharif, as big and strong as he is, when you got collected by that kind of kick chase, you're asking them, sit down. Here we are, sit down, Ricky. Don't get caught up right on the barrel. You're behind the in goal. So we encourage them to sit down and try and play the ball quickly.
Very nearly 20 minutes played, all square, 6 apiece. These two were involved in 2 very close games last year. Batley winning here 23-16, and then going to Halifax, and Halifax winning that 26-20. So never more than 7 points between them last year. And it looks like being another close game here tonight. And here's Greenwood, and the first time he's had the ball really with a bit of chance to run towards that halfway line.
Yeah, and that's the first time that Batley, we saw Halifax do it a little bit early in game field position. Their Batley have front-loaded their defensive effort. Halifax have tried to shift them. They've been aware, they've got in front of them, and they've had to kick. I think it was Tyra that kicked here, or Heaton that kicked down here on the right-hand side, and only made a few metres.
Davis held up just short of the 20-metre mark as Batley looked to attack. Mennell at dummy half. In it goes to Hemingway. Changes the point of attack as Lindsay comes on now. Ash Lindsay puts his head down and tries to burst his way through. A tough back row forward, Ash Lindsay. This now is Hemingway again across the line. Black's carrying it in, ball in both hands, keeping them guessing right to the last minute again, but they've held on to him. And that was the 5th, so here comes the last. What do they do here, Batley? Well, Mennell's going to go from dummy half, brings it out to that right-hand side, but it's Applegarth who's caught in possession, and Halifax survive a good set defensively.
Great defensive set, I think. Yeah, as Nobby alluded to there, you know, Batley fronted up in defence and got some good field position off the back of that defence, and Halifax have withstood that. It's up to them now to get out of trouble.
Here's Devorty with the first drive here for Halifax. He was out for a long time last year, wasn't he? Came back in I think it was Halifax's last game of the year, wasn't it, when they lost to Sheffield, but was impressive that night in the losing team.
They got flogged that night, and he was a standout.
Yeah, he's standing down that left channel. So we know his capabilities, and we know that there's plenty of pedigree in both these sides, as we've seen already here tonight. The LoveRugbyLeague.com stadium. Halifax at the moment in possession, looking to bring it away if they can. Adam Robinson, who's a bit of a landmark here tonight, his 150th career appearance. 15 of those with Batley a couple of years ago.
It's another
kick
40-20.
downfield.
Oh,
just about dealt with by Greenwood, but it was close, wasn't it? Here comes Greenwood. It's bouncing off 2 or 3, but caught in the middle.
You can see why he's being made such an impression here, can't you, Miles Green? Even his early carries, when he's only making 5 or 6 metres, he's got that bit of electricity about him. Here's his partner in crime, Johnny Campbell, again, trying to roll this Batley team forward.
Well, they looked for the offload there, but in the end decides to keep hold. Not sure that, was it Black wanted it?
I think Ben Black gave him it back.
Yeah, it's a forward pass, isn't it? Here comes Keegan Hurst, fresh from the bench.
You won't miss him.
He's a big man, isn't
boy,
he?
yeah, big boy.
Mennell puts it back on the inside. Byron Smith comes down this blind side to try and have a go here. Makes a bit of an impact, but doesn't make a thorough dent in terms of getting his way through. So Black now back to the middle. It's Hurst once more, carrying it in, tall backed, trying to keep the arms free, but even the big men have to fall sometimes, and down he goes, under the weight of 4 defenders. This now is the last. So Hemingway again with that responsibility. Might have kicked this too deep, has he? In fact, he's judged it very well, just hanging it inside touch. Very well dealt with at the back. But Halifax starting from a very awkward position. In fact, the ball's gone out, has it? What's the referee given here? Was there a foot in touch? Penalty. I think there's a bit of afters after the tackle had been completed.
I think he gave Hanford the facial, was it? Oh, it's Heaton. Down he goes. So look.
Well, he's put his foot on the line, but they've decided that that was after the tackle had been completed. Would have been tough either way, really.
Well, he should be allowed to get up and play the ball, because the ball's dead when the tackle's completed. He can put his foot in touch as long as he gets up and plays the ball.
But he's decided he was pushed, so that's where the penalty is.
All right, got you.
It's all very technical, isn't it? Game goes on. And Halifax in possession. Ambler with a big drive forward. 3 defenders on him again. Nashall with his arms out wide, wants this play quickly. Now he gets it. Delivers it wide right. Manning gets it on again. Physical stuff at the moment. Ashall. Drop back on the inside, looking for the burst of Robinson, who's lost it, and the referee says lost cold. No hand in there, so the head and feet at the scrum goes Batley's way here.
Yeah, it's his second carry of the set there, I think, you know. We'll maybe share the work out a little bit more between the big fellas there. He took 2 in the same set. Robinson, I think, 1 on play 3, then 1 again there on play 5.
I think it was the impact of Hurst that dislodged the ball. I think he dropped it cold.
Big Sam's on, by the way. Sam Barlow. So I'm sure we'll see some impact at some case when he has ball in hand.
Go hands out.
Here's Walton again, playing at centre, running like a second rower as he normally is, and he's lost it. And Halifax given cheap possession again and a chance to make hay here on that left-hand side. And that was Barlow, wasn't it? In the gloom on the far side, is made that first big hit up. Back to the middle it comes again. Morrell drops it back on the inside. It's another of the big fellas from the bench. Robinson will have another go. So they're creeping forward here, Halifax. 15 minutes of the half remaining. Barlow throws it out. Oh, well read in defence. Davis dropped under pressure. Terrific read by Davis, and Hanford, trying to get away from him, loses the ball.
Yeah, it was the element of pressure from Davis on Hanford. I think he had a look up, and bear in mind he's trying to beat him with the ball, step inside him because you see him in his eye line, and then I'm supposed to get up and play that, not drop it.
And we talk about the sparklers, don't we? We love to salivate about those players who do some fantastic things with ball in hand, but I tell you, John Davis is worth his weight in gold with moments like that, isn't he? Just as important as the razzle-dazzlers. As Batley move towards the halfway line again. Here comes Walton again, running in once more.
He'd be pleased with that. His last two efforts have been the penalty and the fumble, so get back in the game. That's a good tackle.
Big hit on Black. Picks himself up easily enough. And this time it'll be taken in by Daniel Fleming. This was the tackle here.
Good technique.
Didn't miss Scotty, did he there?
No. Who needs a shoulder charge when you've got technique like that? Little chip downfield, which is swept up by Manning easily enough.
He did well there, Manning, for a back row. He's seen Hemingway's fancied his chances. He's taken off on the punt, dribbled it through, and Manning's cleaned up the spoils. Good play.
Sharif dealt with. Collected this time. Warranty having a go. Again, they want it played quickly than they're being allowed to. Eventually they get on with it. Well, they're making hard yards here. It is all about staying in the game in the first half, isn't it? Up the hill for the side that has to do this hard work up the hill. And Halifax very much staying in it. 6 points apiece. So here comes the final tackle, the kick from Handforth. It's a swirler, it's a tester, but it's Potts who's bagged it safely enough. And he can run it back almost towards that 20 metre.
He never looked like dropping it, did he? He was confident, he'd planted his feet, he had his eyes on the ball, his elbows closed. Brought the ball down from the sky into his arms, and he's played a fair bit of fullback this year, remember, and he popped hand last year.
Yeah, we're used to seeing him in that position. He's used to catching the ball underneath the lights, isn't he, on these Thursday nights? But Batley looking to consolidate here with this set to try and drive themselves. Danny Moore, who's on from the bench as well, will have a go here. Thundering it forward.
Welcome to the game.
Met equally physically.
You have to say, so alert around the ruck if you're the Halifax team and the Batley team, you know, with Warrency. I've been very impressed with Warrency and Sharif, the way they've carried the ball.
It's a kick that wasn't helped by the bounce. It was going too long anyway, but it kicks on with the bounce from Ben Black. And a tap back on the 20 metre mark here.
Okay, now.
We talk about the work rate of wingers these days, and one thing I've noticed about Warrency, he's particularly keen to carry the ball tonight, but when they've been defending, I've seen him hanging around for 4 and 5 tackles at a time and then getting out to his wing to help out towards the last players on the kick, and that can take the workload off the forwards, so really impressive.
It's an easy game for forwards these days, isn't it? The three quarters do all the work these modern times.
I didn't quite go that far.
Barlow from dummy half will play it, and at dummy half it's picked up by Ashall. Halifax inside their opponent's half again here. Just over 11 minutes of this first half remaining. It's been tight, as we'd expect, and Robinson proving that it's been physical as well. Lifted up and bundled down, but it was a legal tackle, the referee decides. So here comes Ashall, waiting at acting half again. This now is the last. Morrell with another jabbed kick forward into the acres of space, hoping that it'll hold up, and it does hold up.
Great kick.
Picked up again by Greenwood with a lot of work to do. And every time it's been kicked downfield, it seems to hold up in that in-goal area.
You're just asking the question again, isn't he? Dig it out of your own area. Can you get down to the halfway line for a kick? And another measured kick from Morrell.
Here's Walton, sharply up from acting half. Oh, there's a bit of noise in the crowd right now, knowing that we've got a decent tussle here in these next few minutes. Could be important coming up to half-time. Batley desperate to hammer on the advantage of a hill in their favour. As it's moved left towards Hemingway, is going to be caught. Oh, it's stolen. Penalty. The referee decides it was hooked out. George Stokes gives the penalty Batley's way, and what a big lift that gives to the home side.
That was a tough call, that on player 5. I think the rules say you have to roll away from the ruck where he's trying to roll away, and Hemingway's all over him like a rash, and he just drops the ball cold trying to play it. And there's 6 more plays.
Here's Davis with that initial drive, puts his left shoulder in, but he's well dealt with by that Halifax defence. Good tackle by Manning. Collected by George Flanagan, who's on the field at dummy half. Another little surge forward. They're edging closer and closer. Flanagan stands and waits, collects now, back inside to Hemingway, who carries it up to the line and then offloads to Keegan Hurst. But Hurst is going to be fouled like a giant tree toppling in sight of the line. So Flanagan goes right again. Black now tries to push it on, and a plunge for the line, which is not too far away. And another go from dummy half. The referee has a look, and he's going to decide it was held up. Doesn't need a video referee, Ian Smith, on this occasion, and so they play the ball back 10 metres.
Well, they were alert there, Halifax, weren't they? Because they've been caught short once there. And
it's a difficult bounce, collected by Fleming. It's going to be a kick. High one, should be and is safely pouched on that right-hand side by Warrancy, who's managed to keep himself in the field of play as well.
He had to concentrate on the catch there because he had plenty of purple jumpers in his face.
Big set here for Batley. They want to keep Halifax as deep as they can here, won't they?
Halifax again spreading, moving them around. They've got some numbers on the left-hand side.
Sharif's done well and got that ball away as well. Tyra trying to cut back inside, but Batley eventually dealing with him. And having found that width, they almost found a way through. And Tyra's hurt here. He's going to be okay to play the ball, but he's going to need some treatment after that. What's the referee decided?
He should play it again.
They seem to play it okay, but he's decided that it has to be played again, and Tyra just carted away to the side so that he can be treated properly.
I think, and I'm not too sure, he fell on the ball, which winded him.
So here come Halifax. Big down the middle again. Barlow, who's underneath all of that, and Ashall, who stands and waits and delivers it left. Another boot from just beyond the halfway line this time, and it's another one that might just hold up, but it bounces out of play. I mean, clearly it's something they've talked about, the slope, isn't it? The kicking game, how easier it is to hold that ball up in that in-goal area.
Well, do you know what? They had a coach that coached here for 2 years, so he'll know the field. He'll be telling them how to kick.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Carl Harrison. Well, the Halifax fans in good voice. 7 minutes to the break. Their side are doing well here. Here's Greenwood.
Exciting the back three from Batley, getting them out of trouble again there. Tap on the 20, and then two players, one the winger, one the fullback, Greenwood, and they're over the halfway.
Here's Davis showing it, so he's going to pass, and then decides to keep it on, and then does get it away well, and Hurst gets it on again. This is good hands here as Flanagan carries it forward, another stride or two. Good, tight, close handling, and as a result of that, they get a penalty.
It was a penalty as well.
Tough period here for Halifax, tough period in their own their own defensive area. They've decided to take two Batley. I'm not so sure whether that's a good option. I thought they had him on the ropes a little bit there.
Well, I don't know if both coaches have decided that this is going to be a 2-point ball game or maybe a 3 or a 4-point ball game, but I'd have been tempted in this occasion to keep playing because they were on the back foot. They've done a couple of defensive sets, they've marched them down the field, a penalty, and they've just done two defensive sets on their own line. Maybe I'd have been tempted to have a punt.
Well, John Keir seems to have all manner of communication here, doesn't he? To keep in touch with his coaching staff.
Do you know which one is best? His body language would be the best one.
It's when the fingers are going. When we see his fingers going, we know there's a bit of pressure on, don't we? So a chance for Hemingway here to try and add another two to try and push his side into the lead here, Batley. And on a tight night in West Yorkshire, this could be a very important moment. Hemingway, right-footed, hoofs it with enough accuracy to ensure it's another two for Batley. They lead now by 8 points to 6. 10 points to 8 points to 6. The scoreboard's wrong. 8 points to 6 with 5 minutes left to play in this first half. But you reckon it could have been more?
Oh, I thought that Halifax was a little bit short there. I thought if Batley'd run it, they had more of an opportunity. Halifax falling off a few tackles, and I think it was probably heaven for them that they decided to take the short goal.
Well, they'll get the ball back at the very least here, Halifax, and a chance to run it away. And again, it's Johnny Campbell who's causing 1 or 2 problems on that far side.
He's carried the ball really well, hasn't he, Campbell?
So a drive and a twist by Walton, who's taken high. Well, he was guilty of a high one earlier, wasn't he? I wonder if that's a little bit of retribution that's going in.
Just introducing himself there to the Batley boys.
Guess who?
Didn't miss, did he?
Well, that's not going to make him any popular with his coach, is it, Sam Barlow, giving a penalty away in that situation?
In that situation before, mate. Calm down, okay? I'll speak to him as well, okay?
George Stokes just telling them why. There's the who. And here's the what happens next. Batley with a penalty kick. Oh, Walton's going to get a talking to as well here. Jason Walton. Just to try and calm things down. So, a chance for Batley to set up inside their opponent's half here, having just put themselves into that narrow lead. Maybe here, and it's Walton who's first man in again to drive it forward. Maybe they have a chance to extend it. Decent carry forward again by Fleming.
Let's hold, go well.
Fleming put down, taking down that blind side. Flanagan first, then Black, and tries to bring them on, but Halifax defending is smart at the moment. So up goes Flanagan once more, a dummy half to spin it back to the middle. This is Black, dummies to Fleming, dummies to Hurst, then tries to take them on. And again, it was Walton, Barlow rather, who was there to stop him in his tracks. So Flanagan now to this left-hand side. This is Davis, cuts back, tries to go on the inside of that defence. We've seen that so often off the left foot. Flanagan twists away. That was the fifth. Here comes the last in this set. Hemingway picks up from dummy half again. Hurst the dummy runner. Here comes Black, dribbling it through. It's fielded, and he's just got back into the field of play, has Scott Morrell. And that was a big moment for Halifax.
He did really well on the catch. To bring the ball in, grab it to his chest, and then stay in the field of play on a real good pressure kick from Ben Black.
So here comes Warrancy, hammering home the advantage with a step and a pass to full-back as well. Well, had he got another stride, I think he was away, but he was caught well by Campbell.
Penalty.
Well, how good was that from Rob Warrancy?
He's played really well tonight. He's done a lot of tough stuff. Here we go. He sees the hole in and around the ruck, runs past Fleming, I think it is, keeps going, steps to full-back, keeps his legs going, and he takes a desperation tackle from Johnny Campbell to bring him down, and that's definitely a penalty.
It's a great carry off his own line, Dave. It's a fantastic carry.
Well, he's got a bit of a bang for his pains, but his teammates, and certainly his coach, seems quite happy with that. There's 2 plays ago. Halifax under so much pressure. Morrell with that catch to keep it in the field of play, and that sets up that wonderful break, which in turn has given Halifax a set of 6 inside their opponent's half here. And here's Barlow with a job to do, driving it forward. Not quite making the impact he would have wanted. But a pick-up by Morrell from dummy half again, running it towards that left-hand side. Here from full-back goes Fieldhouse, dragged towards the touchline. Keeps himself in the field of play, so Ricky Sharif now stands and waits, and back to the middle they go, searching again now. A step,
good offload,
and a collect by Ashall, who himself has managed to pass that ball away, but Batley's defence is there smart enough to make sure there's no further progress made. Instead it's going to be a barging effort down the middle by Ambler, who's done well to offload in mid-air. A pass in full flight, and the kick, and a pick-up, and a well picked up as well. It's another set here. It got a Batley hand, so Halifax have another set.
Good decision.
2 minutes of the half remaining. This could be a really important set of 6 tackles here. Halifax's potentially last attack on this Batley line in this first half. What can they make with it? Handforth picks up now, back on the inside, big hit forward again by Ambler. Gonna be held up, but you can see how close they are. It's not the best of passes, but it's picked up by Morrell. 2 defenders quickly there. I think it was aimed for Handforth, wasn't it?
Good
but it never reached where it needed to be. So Halifax knocked back a stride or 2. Here comes Handforth with a kick to the corner. The bobble and the jostling, and it's back collected by Halifax. Another set. So they're going to finish the half on the attack, and a penalty given Batley's way. Well, Adam Robinson picked up, not liking how he was dealt with, had a bit of a push, and George Stokes says, get back 10, son. Penalty for Batley.
It's a great get-out card for Batley with this. Robinson here, he can't do that, unfortunately, Adam Robinson. It's definitely a penalty. He's complaining about he's been brawled and scrawled all over the place and lost his rag and thought, well, you're having one straight in front of me. And Mr. Stokes says, well, excuse me, that's not in the rules.
And I suggest, Paul, with Carl Harrison, your coach, you don't want to be making that kind of a mistake so close to half-time.
I think it'll be fresh in his mind in about a minute's time, and Adam Robinson could be feeling the wrath of the big fella.
Well, 30 seconds left to play. For any money, it looked as though Halifax were going to score and maybe get themselves back in the lead. As it is, it's Batley who bring it back inside the Halifax half, and with 25 seconds to go, surely it is they who are going to go down fighting at the end of this first half. Here's Davis, trying to spin away, and has spun away. Back down the middle again. How many times does he start on the left and finish a run some distance downfield down the centre of play?
He's been very impressive, hasn't he? The left back roller. Very strong. There's a
Dropped
free
by
play.
Black, here
Free
comes
play.
the kick. It is the free play, the advantage rule, of course, and it's still a free play. It's Sharif who's chasing here. Batley desperately getting back, and Potts just hammering it out of play.
Have it.
And that's it. That's it, yes. A bit
Wrong shape sticks for that, isn't it? Jeez.
Well, I think the referee has decided that is the end of it. That is the full time, or rather the half-time hoot has sounded. It was a free play here, as the boys were saying. So had we had time, they would have gone back and head and feet for Batley, for Halifax rather. Well, they might have taken the drop out under the sticks. Anyway, doesn't matter. End of the half. And what a good first half we've had.
A great game of